Good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Tom Murphy Show. Lately, there's been a lot of political ferment, both throughout the whole nation, but particularly here in Westchester County. And I have with me tonight two of the reasons why that's been happening. The leaders of Indivisible Westchester, Shannon Powell and Verena Arnabal. Ladies, thank you very much for joining me here tonight.
Thank you.
Can you kind of give me an overview of Indivisible and how Indivisible Westchester started?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Indivisible Guide was started after a group of DC staffers following the election last fall got together and put together a common sense guide for local political activism and local organizing, taking some of the best practices that were used as well by the Tea Party, and put forth a guide, put it online, and within a few months it had been downloaded about 500,000 times. They decided at the time to allow local groups who were using the guide, who had decided to use it as a framework for local political organizing, to register with their website. A group of concerned citizens here in Larchmont and Mamaroneck and in Rye had been meeting following the months of the election, really wanting to engage with what was going on at the national level, but also on a local level, and decided to use the guide as our framework and became one of the registered groups with Indivisible.
Okay, and now you folks, you two didn't know each other.
No, correct.
Before this, and you live in close proximity. But that's part of what's going on here, is that it's bringing people together who wouldn't ordinarily be together. And as somebody who's been involved in local politics for a long time, and who always thought local politics was important on an organizational level and also on a practical level. You know, there was a thing that happened in Arkansas a month and a half ago. The Arkansas legislature, state legislature, passed a law that said a woman could not get an abortion unless she had the permission of her husband.
Right.
You know, as primitive as that seems, but what occurred to me is, I guarantee you, everybody who's sitting in the Arkansas legislature had been on a school board, a town board, a village board, had been a local sheriff, had been, this doesn't, that's why you need a farm team. And that's why it's, I want to let you talk, but I read a book years ago called Dark Money. It was about the Koch brothers and how they invested so much in local government so that they could build a farm team, which has now taken over so many state houses. And so, what are your goals locally?
Well, I think the number one goal is really civic engagement. And just like you said, I didn't know Verena beforehand. I didn't know you. It's really wonderful to just have an opportunity to bring so many people together from, different, even your own neighborhood. I mean, Indivisible is really centered around bringing people within close proximity of each other in groups of 20 is what the guide is, how they want you to organize. And it really is about building communities. It's really about being engaged, and it's becoming educated and involved in local politics. I mean, you know better than anybody else that all politics is local. And so it's really engaging people just to embrace that and become as active as they can, as locally as they can, in as close proximity as they can with people, their neighbors and people that they live closest to. So that's really at the heart what it's all about.
And I think a lot of this grew out of a lot of our anxiety over the election. I mean,
absolutely.
And wanting to have some feeling that we weren't just powerless.
Right.
And obviously we haven't been. Can you talk about the town hall that happened the other night? Because I know you both attended.
Right.
So let me just get this out there. How much does George Soros pay you guys?
Right.
Not enough, because I
Still
can't
waiting.
retire.
Still waiting for that. Yeah.
That's the sort of nonsense you hear from the other
Exactly,
side. And a lot of
right.
times what I find is that people ascribe their own motives and behaviors to other people.
Right.
But I can guarantee you I've never gotten a check for anything that I've done
Absolutely.
on a political level.
And it's just a way to try and delegitimize something that people are very passionate about.
And it's been organic, truly organic.
It's been truly organic, and that's what's so amazing about it, is that we decided to launch this thing the Tuesday after the march, and in 2 days, this was on a Tuesday, 2 days later on a Thursday, we decided, okay, let's have a training welcome to Indivisible Westchester meeting, and we planned that on Thursday for a Sunday, and on Sunday we had 700 people show up. So it's a similar thing with the town hall. You have a town hall that our county executive puts on the schedule. It was on the schedule, it was off the schedule, but people now are hyper focused and aware of everything that everybody's doing at every level of government. So they are calling up the county executive's office. They're asking the secretary, when's the meeting? Where's it going to be? I mean, this is all about getting people to engage on their own. Somebody started a petition drive when it was off the schedule to have Verena put it back on the schedule. So the word spread throughout our membership, from friends talking to, I mean, what's happening now, we say a lot. You know, if you're at school, say picking up your kids, or you're at work, you're talking about these things much more than you would have been beforehand. So it seems like, there are about 200, maybe more people who ended up at the town hall.
Just about, yeah.
In White Plains.
And what we've seen more and more as we've continued to grow our membership is that there's so many people who have never really been involved in the political process who really want an opportunity to be engaged and really are looking for leadership, but are also looking for some, a specific skill set and information and guidance. But the motivation is their own. They're the ones seeking out the information and looking for ways to engage on a local level. And I think really making the connection for themselves that the local politics matter and they tie into state politics, and then also what's going on at the federal level, which is, originally why we came together. But there's very much, I think, an awareness innate in our members that what happens in your own backyard matters, and they want to be engaged in that as well.
And I just want to point out that you are not an organ of the Democratic Party or any political party.
That's right.
And that to me has been very heartening to see folks who, some of them are Democrats, some of them are independents, some of them are Republican, all get together and just say, I don't think that this is the way America is supposed to be.
Exactly.
And to actually, get engaged in local politics, national politics, state politics, because, my own opinion is that, as a country, we just let that go for so long. I mean, I used to say to people, if we paid as much attention to politics as we do to the Super Bowl, we'd be a much better country.
Right.
And so it's heartening to me, to see it. But I just want to point that out. You're not controlled by the Democratic Party has never, in my experience, has never controlled anything anyway. But
that's the old joke. I'm not a member of any organized
that's part
party.
of
I'm a Democrat. I
Yeah.
mean, so you can look at that. You can, take that as being pretty true. But it's not about political affiliation. It's really about progressive values, being against extremism, and also just being aware of what's going on. I mean, people need to talk about things, and we need to have dialogue, and we need to be informed about issues. A lot of people, they had no idea what their electeds, who they were, what they stood for. I mean, what's great is now people know who their county executive is. They know who their legislator is. They're starting to understand how county government works. One of the things we're working on right now is a workshop, because I've had so many people say, how does county government fit in? They understand the federal and they kind of get the state, but how does that work? And so
what do they do? What services do they provide?
Exactly. So it's about educating, and now they know who their legislator is and what they, and it's just, that's wonderful, because it's about being an informed citizen. And if you're going to change things for the better, you have to start with an informed, you have to inform people. That's where you need to start.
And I think it's important to have a dialogue with those who disagree with us too.
Absolutely.
And I think that that hasn't been. I work in a construction union, and so we don't all think the same.
Right.
But and no matter how much it frustrates me, I have to realize that I have to. If I have a conversation, if you immediately get angry, the other person gets angry, and then it's any chance to see their side, have them see your side, is then gone.
Right.
We've had that, right? We've had people from both political parties show up to our meetings, and coming together on values, on shared values, and they're upset about what's going on. And that's been great. I mean, that's really an opportunity, I think, to bridge some of those divides and really start to talk across party lines.
I mean,
Right.
these are strange times. There's no getting around this. I mean, I remember talking to my children during this whole thing, and I said, there's nothing to compare this to. We have never been through this before.
Right.
Recently, the President of the United States accused the last President of the United States of basically committing a crime.
Right.
That could get him, a felony. And without any proof or without any, attribution that he read it on a known alt-right site, and
Right.
he just repeats it like it's fact because he'd like that to be true.
Right.
So it's very important that people are informed and that
Yes.
they check, both left and right. And
Uh-huh.
I've seen things on Daily Kos, which is a left-wing site, that I didn't agree with and I didn't think were right upon checking with it. So it's important to check, your news sites and to verify. And
Absolutely.
the people that have been calling fake news are not fakes. I mean, I don't always agree with the
Right.
Wall Street Journal, but it's a real paper.
It's an
know,
established, yes.
And the CNN, I scream at CNN sometimes, but it's a real network.
Exactly.
They're doing their best, and they have their point
Yeah.
of view, but they try and report what they see as the facts.
Exactly.
The idea that there's alternate truths
No.
is a very scary idea.
It's a very, and I mean, that's where I think we can also, be of use is that, to remind people that there aren't such things as, alternative facts. And, we try and present things that are factual, that are, that are well researched and are published by established, news organizations. I mean, so that's part of the, information and education aspect of what we're trying to do too, because that's very important. I mean, you get into a really scary territory when you start to believe that there aren't such things as facts, or also that it's okay to just bypass the media and go straight from the president or any I don't care, any elected official straight to the people. Well, that's nothing more than propaganda.
Yeah.
And that's reserved for countries like China and North Korea and Russia. I mean, that's not an American value. That's not when Verena talks about values. I mean, that's not what America stands for. And so these are some of the things that we want to make very clear, that we stand for what is American, and we stand for patriotism, and we stand for values, and we stand for being informed and being engaged. I mean, these are very important. Very, very important things for America.
And it's very important that our children have some information that this isn't the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
Because there's a whole generation that's going to spend, if he lasts 4 years, that's going to spend 4 years watching this
Right.
and thinking that this is the new normal, and
Yeah.
they won't have any, thing to compare it to.
Right. And I think that we're really encouraged not just by the unbelievable energy and the influx of people constantly into Indivisible and coalitions and partnerships that we're making all over the county with lots of groups that are sharing with us what's going on in their backyard as well, and keeping us informed and sharing their ideas.
Yeah.
So the communication really goes both ways. But I think that one of our goals certainly is to have a lasting impact in the
Right.
county, and have this not be something that just fizzles out after the next round of elections, but something where people have embraced now a new form of civic engagement, and that becomes a lifelong hobby for them.